Too much of small business relief funding, which was passed by the Congress, ended up in the hands of those who either didn't need it or criminal syndicates who outright stole the money. My message to those cheats out there is this: you can't hide. We're going to find you. We're going to make you pay back what you stole and hold you accountable under the law.
That was President Biden signing legislation to extend the statute of limitations for some pandemic-related fraud. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott follows up on the effort to crack down on COVID funding fraud as part of her series, Through the Cracks.
It's been called an unprecedented wave of fraud.
Tonight in Florida, a pastor and his son arrested for allegedly stealing more than $8 million in federal COVID relief funds.
Scammers taking advantage of government aid for businesses, used instead to buy mansions, luxury handbags, sports cars, cryptocurrency, even a rare Pokemon card. 3 years later, unsuspecting victims are still paying the price.
The loan was for $92,500, and it was for my livestock farm. I don't have a livestock farm.
As COVID-19 spread and the country shut down, Congress approved the largest stimulus package in history, the $2 trillion CARES Act, a lifeline to businesses, hospitals, and local governments on the verge of economic ruin.
A decision was made at the outset of the pandemic. Speed was the key. We're going to send the money out. We're not going to vet people. That was a bad choice.
Inspector General Michael Horowitz, now leading the team of independent watchdogs tracking trillions in pandemic relief, says the Small Business Administration ignored key warnings.
What recommendations specifically were ignored?
The Small Business Administration Inspector General, right at the outset of the pandemic, said, stop relying on self-certifications. Check people. Make sure they're real people. That didn't happen until 2021.
ABC News reviewed several reports from the SBA Inspector General and found a troubling pattern. The agency was late, taking a recommended step to weed out fraudulent loan applications that should not have been approved, and for a year had no system to track identity theft claims as they came in. Richard Lowe was a practicing physician for 37 years. He says he and his wife, Donna, got a letter from the SBA demanding they pay back $100,000 in loans they say they never took out for a farm that doesn't exist.
Our IDs were stolen by someone who took out 2 SBA loans. Those SBA loans have caused the government to hound us.
According to the government's top watchdog, the SBA awarded $5.4 billion in small business relief to nearly 70,000 applicants with suspect Social Security numbers. 2 administrations and more than $5 trillion in aid later, investigators are still scrambling to make sense of how much of that money has been siphoned off by fraudsters.
Do we have any idea what the scope is of the fraud?
I've said it wouldn't surprise me if it exceeded well over $100 billion, but we're still chasing the money and following the fraud.
In a statement to ABC News, the SBA declined to comment on the Lowe's situation, but says it is committed to providing expeditious relief to victims of identity theft, with the Biden administration preparing to announce an executive order that officials have promised for months, focused on aiding and protecting victims, as the Justice Department's team of COVID fraud prosecutors continues to go after scammers.
Is there any recourse for those victims of fraud?
It's very hard for the victims of fraud. The federal government has not done a particularly effective job in helping victims of identity theft.
For This Week, Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Our thanks to Rachel. Her full report tracking pandemic fraud airs this Tuesday on ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.